some fun things to do in Nashville? Like, what do you guys do for fun over there?
Back in the day, we used to have a theme park. We used to have a theme park called the Opryland Theme Park. We used to have a thing called the Starwood Amphitheater, where we used to have like big giant festivals, like we would have like Ozfest and things like that. Well, those things have disappeared.
Sort of like Astroworld did in 2005 over here. Yeah.
It's having a big giant theme park that people love. They decided to put a fucking mall in the middle of that place. So now that seems to be the big touristy mall, so to speak, which we stay away from as much as possible.
Okay.
Nashvillians, we try to stay away from downtown as much as possible. And the reason why we do is because, one, the price of parking alone now is like $20 an hour almost sometimes.
God damn.
It can get that way.
Okay, here's a statistic about Nashville. Nashville is ranked one of the most expensive cities because of the high cost of rent. Back in the day when I first moved to Nashville, it was back in 2002. Yeah, 2002.
17 years ago. Okay.
Things were so much better. Simpler. Nashville was just like a small town where, you know, nobody really knew much about it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, what drew me to Nashville was theme park. And then the little shitheads out there somewhere decided to destroy the fucking thing. And now they don't have a theme park anymore.
And then they used to put on shows, too, like during the holidays, like Christmas, Halloween, all that. They would put on shows. The one thing to do here in Nashville is, obviously, the Titan games. People go to those. People go to the Preds hockey games.
The biggest draw to Nashville right now is the tourists. The biggest tourism part of Nashville is the honky tonks downtown Nashville.
Ooh.
People really go just to simply fucking get drunk.
And here's the statistic.
It's a party town now.
Hey, you remember when I told you earlier, Stephen, about all those bridal shower parties?
Yeah.
Let's just say this much. There's this thing called the pedal
I
tower.
used to work downtown for 3 years, so I know pretty much everything that used to go on down there.
There's this thing called the pedal taverns, where you basically, they play music, someone's driving the tavern, you're pedaling while you're freaking drinking, and it's usually those annoying bridal girls thinking like, I want to dance with somebody.
The bachelorette parties and the bachelor parties, they usually take these taverns down, and they will start at about maybe 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning, and go until about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, well, here's some statistic for you.
And just drink and pedal and drink and pedal on.
Well, here's some statistic about Titan games. When people are downtown and during Titan games, they're already on top of buildings drinking at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Damn.
So that gives you an indication of how
most of the bars, most of the main, like, what are they called, clubs?
Yeah.
That we used to go to, all the clubs that we used to go to no longer exist downtown.
Yeah.
They were fun to go to.
Well, you know, clubs and restaurants are always a hit and miss. You know,
More dance clubs. There's like the ones that you were talking about in your last interview session, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Don't exist anymore. And where we had our co-op bachelorette party together.
Mm-hmm.
The place where we went to for that no longer exists, and that was in downtown Nashville at one point too. So.
Well, it's basically what to do in Nashville. There's a lot of restaurants. There's a lot of restaurants in Nashville. If you are into hot chicken, if anybody's into hot chicken, Hattie B's seems to be the place to be for hot chicken.
I have a warning label, though.
Yeah.
Nothing good happens after 11 o'clock at night there.
Yeah.
Nothing.
So if you're a tourist,
the crime rate has risen significantly.
If you're a tourist, there's certain parts of downtown you got to stay away from.
In fact, there's a lot of parts of Nashville you have to stay away from because it's just become. Our last mayor really fucked us up. Moved everybody from the projects out towards closer to where we live now and further out. And so, I mean, I'm not trying to tell people not to go to Nashville, but.
Well, there are some good things in Nashville. There's a Nashville walk for you know, for the Civil War. There's also stuff that I used to work at. There's a lot of there's like it's on the First Avenue. There's actually there's actually a historic thing for that.
Oh, there is?
No, I do know about that, but I don't know if it's still there or not.
It's still there. Oh, and then there's the tour. There's the tour stuff. I guess you can ride trolleys if you like trolleys. There's that there you can do here. There's also we're about to get a Major League Soccer team eventually.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That's in the works. There's a thing called the Fairgrounds where it's like Fairgrounds is a really...
Well, that's apparently where the Major League Soccer team is supposed to be placed at.
Yeah.
The old Fairgrounds.
The old Fairgrounds. Now what you do is during June, you want to avoid Nashville as much as possible. Unless you're a country music fan, you have CMA Fest.
First weekend of June, basically.
First weekend of June. And then there was one year that happened, was the year that the Preds went to the Stanley Cup. So they were both going on at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
And that was hell. That was like hell on earth here. The one thing too in Nashville is if you're into paranormal, there's those tour guides. There's ghost tours.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. I'm into that kind of stuff.
I actually was a tour guide for that, so there's stuff to do for that.
So when you say you're a tour guide, go into a little bit about that. Like, what did you do?
Well, we went to different taverns, like bars, basically, and I would tell them histories about these bars, and I would tell them, you know, some of the paranormal histories about these bars, the history of even certain histories with like U.S. history. Like if you go to B.B. King's nightclub, there's a thing where they used to have the Maxwell coffee, and a lot of people don't know that Theodore Roosevelt's the one that came up with the whole good to the last drop. But he did that. He did that while he was in Nashville.
Oh wow!
So a lot of people don't know that. I mean, there's a lot of...
I didn't know that.
That's still, yeah. I mean, it was fun doing that. It was like, because you basically tell them ghost stories, and then afterwards I would tell them about some stuff about the Bell Witch Cave, which is like an hour away from here. Tell them about that story.
So what is that story? I'm kind of curious. I want to know. What's the Bell Witch Cave?
The Bell Witch is basically a little small town in Tennessee called Adams, Tennessee. John Bell from the Bell family bought this. They had this land, and they had this problem with some woman. I think her name was Kate Batts. Was it Batts?
I think so.
Yeah, Batts. Well, she had this problem, and they had some kind of little curse on them, which we thought she put a curse on them. But what people don't know is that cave is an Indian burial ground, and John Bell's family, their farm was on the Indian burial line. He was getting harassed. His daughter was getting slapped, scratched. It got to the point to where President Andrew Jackson went down there to see about it, and his whole carriage broke apart, and then they stayed the night, and he basically said that he would never ever stay in that place ever again. He'd rather fight the British than stay there ever again. So when you go into that town, they look at you differently because they don't like outsiders. They see you, they think you're up to something. They have a tour for that. And I'll tell anybody, if you go into that tour, do not take a rock from that cave. Anybody that's taking a rock from that cave, something bad has happened to them. So,
and it's located in Adams, right?
Adams, Tennessee.
How far is it from you guys?
It's about 45 minutes northwest of here.
Ooh. When was the last time y'all been there?
Well, we've only been there once, and when I drove up there with him, this was back in...
It's like 08, 09?
Something like that. This was about 10 years ago. We managed to find the area that the Bell Witch Cave was located at. We didn't actually go into the Bell Witch Cave, but we went into the driveway where, we were supposed to allegedly, I guess, get tickets for it. Well, there were people that were near the entranceway that were looking at us like we were fucking nuts. Like, who the hell are you? Why are you here? They just, just that look of, who are you? You're an outsider. You don't belong here kind of thing. So I just backed my ass up. We drove a little bit into town just to see what the town of Adams looked like and everything, and then we drove home.
John Bell, basically. So
Well, legend has it that the Belle was killed gunbound.
Right. So, but the legend has it that she comes back every now and then to go after the Bell men and the family. Like she jumps from generation and goes after them.
And are some of them still alive? That like descendants that still live there?
Yeah, there's some Bell descendants still alive. Yeah, there's some kind of accident. So, I mean, there's this different thing. It's just a little different. It's like a curse thing, and
Sort of like the John F. Kennedy family. How they're like all of his family members dying, uncaused plane wrecks and shit. I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
And then plus you got the whole another thing to do here in Nashville. If you're, especially in September and October, they have like the haunted attractions, like a lot of haunted houses. A lot of people.
Actually, there really aren't that many haunted houses.
They don't mean,
There really aren't, because of that one haunted attraction that they have that's become massive, has taken over a lot of the other ones that have closed down.
Memphis goes. There's the Memphis Zoo. There's also there's this Memphis Art Museum that's really good in Memphis. And then yes, you can go and visit the. You go see the hotel where Dr. King got shot at.
Oh, you can go see it?
Yeah, you can.
Because some people say that the house in Memphis or wherever that was his recording studio wasn't actually like his authentic house. Is that true?
It is his actual house, yes.
Oh, okay.
However, I mean, I've been inside of the house before, and there's part of the house that you just cannot access. I don't know if that's because one of the main family members still lives there or what the deal is, but they have part of the house completely shut down to tourists.
Oh, okay. So there's one part of it they won't even show.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it. I think it's upstairs.
There's two rooms. There's one that's not being allowed, and then you can't go into Elvis's mom's room that she had where she was living. So there's like two rooms that you can't go into.
I believe from what I was told when I remember the tour, because I mean this was like a long time ago, but I do remember them saying that one of the living members of Elvis's family was still living there.
Wow. How much?
I don't know.
How much did the tickets cost, like, to go in there?
I don't know. I went with my mom and dad and everything. They paid for the tickets. So.
That's so cool.
If you do like historical stuff, there is stuff to do in Nashville. You can actually go visit. You can go visit Andrew Jackson's house mansion in Hermitage. Places you can go and
yeah, I mean there's state parks all over the state and everything where you can hike and such.
Where you can go camping. There's also a thing in Tennessee called the Smoky Mountains.
Ooh.
Where you can go. Where you can go during the wintertime. You can take the slopes. And if you take the slope, you can go in halfway.
It's called Gatlinburg.
Gatlinburg, right? But you can take it like halfway. So I heard if you take the slope, when you go on the slope, sometimes you can pass into North Carolina and then come back.
Ooh.
So it's kind of like a little.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's like Four Corners in Arizona, where if you're standing on one spot, you're in 4 different states. It's like that's cool, man.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and
there's also a place south of here called Land Between the Lakes.
What's that?
It's a big national park where they also have waterfalls.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And you can also stay in the cabins too, which
it's like a big tourist place too.
Yeah.
So
another thing that's popular in Nashville is a lot of bed and breakfast, like people
Airbnbs.
Airbnbs. People leave their houses for you to rent and stuff like that to stay in. So that's also popular here too.
So what is the weather like in Tennessee? Because I know like it's probably not the same, and it's in different regions, different areas, right? It has different weather.
Tennessee is what I like to call it bipolar.
It's a very bipolar state.
It's very bipolar.
Literally, you can have all 4 seasons in one day.
Same like Texas.
Yeah, it sucks.
Pretty much when it gets to hot, even when it gets to spring, it's already like in the 80s by that time.
Yeah.
I'll say single digits.
Single digits.
Oh, okay.
But it doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, very often it doesn't happen, but a lot of times we get like possibly 30, 40, sometimes 20s.
So what about northern Tennessee? Does it snow a lot up there, or because I don't know if you have the mountains up north?
East Tennessee, West Tennessee. East Tennessee, like Knoxville, where University of Tennessee is, they like in that area of Chattanooga. Mm-hmm. And like those areas, they like the Cumberland Plateau. The Cumberland Plateau gets like snow.
Oh, so they get snow then?
Yeah, the plateau definitely gets snow because it's the highest elevation of the entire state. So
how high is the elevation?
15,000, maybe a little bit more.
Maybe more than that.
Damn, yeah, because I know Denver's 51,000, so it's like almost half of Denver then.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
Does the air get thin?
I've ridden through the plateau, and there's actually a couple scenic areas where you can stop and look out over the scenery and everything like that. Wherever, like,
there's a little piece of that. There's a little piece of that where you also get into Georgia a little bit.
Really?
Oh no, that's
Chattanooga. Chattanooga. There's like a little part of Chattanooga where when you're driving toward
when you're driving through Chattanooga,
Georgia,
parts where you're going through, when you go through Georgia and come right back into and go back into Georgia again. So.
Wow, so that part of Chattanooga's in Georgia then, part of it?
Yeah, that's
like whoever lives over there.
Huh?
Whoever lives on that part of Chattanooga that goes to Georgia technically is a Georgia resident.
Yeah.
Wow, that's weird.
And plus, Chattanooga's got the Chattanooga Aquarium you can go to. That's another part of Tennessee you can do. But the one thing we like going to like these little small country. They got really beautiful small country towns here, where it's in the middle of nowhere and it's just like nothing but great land. And
where is the country town? Because I haven't been to one in a while.
Like Springfield or like
Springfield's getting bigger.
Where
Manchester?
Like Cross Plains.
Cross Plains? Oh, Cross Plains, yeah.
Cross Plains, there's some areas where
the government hasn't, found their land yet.
Yeah, they haven't built their shit out. Now, here's something else for you. Statistically, you can find a hotel cheaper to rent in New York, in Times Square, than you can here in Nashville.
Yep.
You serious?
I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious.
One day, look it up.
Because I know New York is a very expensive place to live. It's almost like living in Cali.
I actually talked to my sister one day who lives in New York City. Well, she doesn't live in New York City, but she lives on the outskirts of New York City. Her rent a month is cheaper than it is here in Nashville for like a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment in Nashville. Okay. They have increased the price of living here by, I think, maybe 2 or 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we jumped up 30%.
People that live here in Nashville, they grew up here in Nashville, don't live in Nashville anymore because of that.
So they're moving out in the countryside.
They're moving as far out as they can because they can't afford to live where they're living now because they're getting pushed out.
The only thing about Nashvillians is that if we have to go downtown, if we absolutely have to go downtown, it has to be for either a concert or a hockey game or a football game.
Not even then. No.
Not even then. We try to avoid it.
So I'm gonna name some towns. Y'all tell me what y'all think it's like. I'm looking at the map. Murfreesboro, Franklin.
Franklin's pretty.
Franklin's beautiful. Murfreesboro is becoming a very booming city. Both of those two have the Civil War battlefields.
Yes.
To it.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Because you did have the Battle of Murfreesboro. What about like Jackson? I know Jackson's going further towards Memphis. Have y'all been there?
I've never been there, no.
I've only been through there once. But when you get close to like Jackson, you're talking about seeing a lot of Amish.
What?
Yeah.
That was Lawrenceburg.
It's closer into that area. Lawrenceburg, Tennessee, Jackson, Tennessee, you're seeing a lot of Amish people. And we actually have seen an Amish guy on the road.
What?
Yeah.
Actually, we've seen an Amish family on the road.
Yeah.
With horse and buggy and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So what do you see in places like Clarksville then? Clarksville is almost going towards the Kentucky border, like northwest.
Clarksville, close to Clarksville and the Kentucky border, Fort Campbell, you're seeing the 101st Airborne. That's where they got the Army station at.
Oh, that's pretty cool, man.
Airborne. Clarksville has become kind of a crime town a little bit because people are moving there because it's cheaper. I've noticed that. Clarksville's become cheaper. So
the more people, the more crime.
So have you guys ever been towards the western part eastern part of Tennessee where it kind of breaks off in a small boot? You got the Cherokee National Park, Johnson City, Kingsport, Greenville.
We've been through there, but we've never actually been to any of those towns.
It's like past Knoxville.
Yeah.
There's a place in Tennessee, Bristol has a racetrack called, everybody, the NASCAR.
Yeah.
Like a Bristol race there every 2 races there a year. Let's see, we have, there is a place in West Tennessee, I shit you not, man, it's called Bucksport, Tennessee.
Yep.
It's called what?
Bucksport, Tennessee.
I'm looking on the map here. I don't see it, but I'm sure it's on here.
It's west. It's the west side of Nashville. It's heading towards Memphis.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause I see Dixon, I see Kingston Springs, Hurricane Mills, Sugar Tree.
Hurricane Mills is actually where country legend Loretta Lynn lives at. That's her area.
That's her home.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And in Waverly, Tennessee, in that area, my uncle was actually sheriff for 30-something years in that town. So yeah, I mean, it's and I tell you this, Loretta Lynn does not like him very much.
So what you know? What's weird? Y'all guys on your design by Hendersonville, you got like on the map. It looks like a lake, but it's in the shape of what it looks like a snake almost.
It does.
And then on the bottom of that, you got a real big one by Rural Hill. It's called the Coochville Cedar Glade State Natural Area.
Yeah, there's a thing called the Cumberland. There's the Cumberland River. There's the Cumberland River can be attached to the Tennessee and the Mississippi River too. So if you're on the boat, that's another thing to do in Nashville. There's a thing called the General Jackson boat, like a show boat. You can do that as well, which is also you got dinner and a movie and a show, like a dinner and a show on a boat. So, and it goes around the stadium in Nashville and it goes back to Opryland.
So definitely Nashville's would not be as boring as Houston. It would definitely there's a lot to do there.
Yeah.
You probably have to travel around Tennessee then.
I've been to Texas, and to be honest with you, I probably would have more fun in Texas than I would here in Nashville.
Shit, okay.
Like I said, when you come to Nashville, it's either you're doing one of two things. You're either coming here to drink, or you're coming here to drink.